Hello everybody and welcome to Uninterrupted with me, David Mbeha. We are here at Quiescent House, the perfect home for anyone who's looking for a getaway but within the city. I'm going to leave their details down. Do get in touch. I am joined on this episode by award-winning artist, rapper, musician, actor, and I think he's just phenomenal. And it's wonderful to see somebody start off in music and then make that transition into acting and still be able to do such a phenomenal job at it. The one and only Dice. Dice One Stunner.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by that one stunner. Last night I was thinking, where did that one stunner come from?
There's actually a story behind it, but before I go into it, if you like, I would just like to say thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes.
To this platform.
Yeah.
I think it's my first podcast for 2025.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's great. That's great. We're starting the year on a great note.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
Beautiful place, by the way. So I love the setting.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you so much.
So then it's actually a nickname. I remember, which year was it? I just finished high school.
Okay.
I think I was first year, now Polytech at the time. Or was I? Was I still in high school? I don't remember.
Yeah.
But then, the music industry was at a point whereby quality was either you have a good music video quality,
Yeah.
or you don't. There was no gray lines. And Ogoba Butterfly was killing it back in the days
Yes.
with those quality videos. And the late Eclipse just did a song for me called Stunner. If you're a Stunner homie, lean with it, that song that we did.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? This video needs to be cool. Like, it must be that, transition from the Tatutura Dice, trying music video Dice to this new image that I want to portray. And I thought, okay, Ogoba, yeah, but let me try to do something different. And I clicked with these guys from Miranda's, which was Desert Fields Productions. They just did Patlamna Zela at the time.
Yes, I do remember.
Yeah, and they did Namsira, Sweetie, My Baby. Those two
Very
music
popular,
videos.
yes.
Yeah. I was like, wow. Like, this is so clean. Like, who are these guys? It's definitely Ogoba quality, but it's not Ogoba style. So I called One Africa and I asked the producers to give me the contact details for Desert Films. And I reached out to Errol. Errol said, no, we're based in Arandas. Unfortunately, we haven't done music videos in Windhoek. And I asked him if they could come to Windhoek and do a video for me. I said, yeah, gladly. So they came to Windhoek, and during set while we were busy shooting, Errol kept calling me, Stunner. Stunner, stand here, do this. As he was directing, he kept calling me Stunner, and everybody on set started calling me Stunner.
Yeah.
And that's how the name Stunner clicked.
Yes.
And then at the time, I remember there were so many Stunners, in the industry, in the rap industry, there was like Stunner. So I was like, you know what, I'm the number one Stunner.
Number one Stunner.
Yeah, and that is how Dice Number One Stunner came about.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But before we get into like the whole music scene and the acting, there is Dice who's just dreaming of being and dreaming of becoming. Paint us a picture. Where are you before you get into the scene?
Is this on a set?
No, before you get into acting and all this, what are you doing? Like, what was life like before you got into music?
Okay. Interesting question, actually. So, the music started for me in high school.
Yeah.
Grade 9 to be exact. The time that the 8 Mile movie came out, the Eminem 8 Mile movie came out. We were inspired by the movie. Everybody in school was freestyling and doing stuff like that. My older brother, I come from a family of 5. I'm the middle child. My older brother and his friend, he was at Eldorado at the time. They used to love dancing, those B2K days. So they were the dancers, and I was more of an introvert. When you're a middle child, you're not really the standout child in the family. You are the one that everyone overlooks,
Yeah.
It's either the firstborn or the last child. It's never really the one in the middle. So he was the dancer, and I was more introvert, good kid, did relatively well in school in terms of marks, but I got inspired. I was not the forefront guy when it came to freestyling in school and stuff like that, but I always used to write in the corner. I was the one that was hyping up my friends and stuff like that. Until my friend, like Icon, he lives in Portugal now. He moved in Portugal. He was like, bro, this is good material. I have a friend of mine called Cannibal. He has a studio. Let's go pay him a visit. And I think that's where it started. And I started slowly coming out of my shell, being a introvert, extrovert. And when I did my first recording, it's when I really thought, oh, okay, I think I actually have a knack for this. And it went from writing at home to doing one song with Cannibal, to doing high school shows. I was at St. Thomas at the time. I was doing Concordia. We did St. Paul's. We were just going around Academia, HTS. Like we were, that's where it started for me. But
and are you also writing a bit of your music at this point? Or?
Yes, that is where. Sorry, I forgot the very most important piece. So my friend, like Icon, approached my older brother. It was like, yo, you guys dance. Like the girls love you guys. Why don't you guys come dance for us? And being the big brother that he was like, you know what? Sounds good, but we won't dance for you. You guys come rap for us.
Okay.
Basically, you guys join our group. So they called themselves Dark Dogs at the time. I don't know why. But that was the name that we went with. And it was Dark Dogs there, Dark Dogs that. And then, I started writing more material, and then they started joining into the raps as well. We started joining them into, those moves as well, just to have that coordination on stage and stuff like that. But I think I've always been an introvert. I enjoy time alone. As much as being on stage is something that I really, really love, I also really, really just love my own time, quality time by myself, and just to hear myself think. I think it's an introvert thing, I think.
But also, do you feel when you are in the industry that it's sort of like the industry demands so much from you that if you can catch and keep certain things to yourself or just enjoy the time that you have alone, you would want to do that more?
No, definitely. And I think coming from when we started doing music, it was so fast-paced. And those are the days, golden days, that I really cherish the most, because it's one of those things that every moment can be relived. I think even if you perform in Usakos today and you perform in Usakos tomorrow, the experience are different. You never really know what to expect. And I always tell the younger guys that are coming now that cherish every moment. You might be the guy today, and tomorrow not so much, because the music has got a fast expiry date even today. Seeing that internet is there, and people can access your music fast. But yes, as much as that is thrilling and the adrenaline is high and it's good and you get the cheers and all of that, nothing beats just being by myself and just staying grounded and just soaking in the reality of what life is. Because I think I had this and I've had that, and I come to realize that there's nothing better than the middle. And this is where I love to be.
I've never had anyone actually explain it that way, and it's really beautiful. Because sometimes we are so addicted to the highs. And when we hit the low, we kind of feel like, okay, this is the end. But if you allow yourself to just be, that's a beautiful state of being also. But how did you come to that point, that realization?
I had, I'm 36 years old now. I was fortunate to start music at a very young age. I was exposed to the celebrity lifestyle from a very young age, at least to a Namibian standard. I've had my trials and tribulations, bad relationships, bad backstabbings. I've also had very good moments. So I think going through that, I've kind of made peace with what was. I have no regrets. And with what I've accomplished over the years, I think it gave me a sense of for lack of better words, I would say security, peace of mind. The bottom, especially when you're up there, things can happen overnight and you go down. And in our industry, it's very easy for you to succumb to mental health, depression. These things are serious. Many of our colleagues in the industry really are consumed by the industry, and most of them don't know really how to cope when the lights are off. The sense of, okay, it's just you now. That is not easy, because you want to live there. You want to live everybody wants to live the rockstar lifestyle. But I think I'm okay with having it momentarily. You know what I mean? I'm okay with that. If it comes, or when it comes, I will enjoy the moment. I will take it in and I will appreciate it.
And not allowing it to be anything else than what it really is right now.
Exactly.
Because sometimes, you can have like a wonderful moment, or something that's going on in your life that is just wonderful. And then something kind of tells you, but then what is next?
Exactly.
But then how do I top this? Instead of like, okay, I'm in the moment, something huge has just happened to me. I'm going to be present, I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm not going to think about the next step.
Yeah, and I think also celebrating your friends. I see you on TV when you're hosting events. I'm like, wow, great job.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Like, he did a very, very good job. But again, seeing a peer, someone in my industry, in my category, maybe on stage, and he maybe he's killing it at the moment. Yeah. It's not easy for an artist to congratulate, genuinely say, oh, I'm happy. It's always a thing of, I wish there was me. You know what I mean? I think it's normal for anyone to think like that, because we are all competitors in our own rights. We are competing with each other as much as we're colleagues. But like I said, you must be okay when it's not your moment. You must be able to say, all the best to Mbeha. He's doing his thing. Like, I wish him all the best. Like, he's representing us. Yeah. You know what I mean? And in our industry, it's always a thing of it needs to be me. It needs to be me. And I think very early in my career stage, I come to be okay with, sometimes you need to let somebody else run and pave the way for you to come tomorrow. And this is probably where I get my my balance. I'm okay to say, I'm like now in film, I work my butt off, you know what I mean? Because I took a conscious decision to say that I'll pause the music for now. I will still be active here and there. If a feature comes, whatever, I'll do what I need to do. But pursuing this lane of acting must be a career goal for me. I just want to be, already I'm seen as, I have an advantage because my name is already there. People think maybe I got these roles easy. No, I go to auditions, I stand in the queues. I put in the effort, and I make sure that I put in the work, and I don't really get sidetracked with I'm on TV with a film, and living that superstar lifestyle in the film aspect, because I've already went through it with the music. I'm just grounded enough to say that keep your vision tunnel, do the work, and let's see in 20 years from now we can look back, reflect, and maybe celebrate the success. Right now I'm not in the let me celebrate myself stage yet, because it's so easy for me to sidetrack and let it go to my head and think, oh, I'm the guy. No one is better than me or whatever. No, I'm at the stage whereby I'm still learning from Adriano. I'm still learning from NSK. I'm still learning from Odile Gertza or Shuna. Or Hazel Hinda. Example. You know what I mean? So I'm there. As much as they might say, oh wow, this guy he's doing the things. But I don't let it get to me like that. I'm still very much grounded, and I try to live in the moment, and I put work first. That's pretty much what it is.
I think it's beautiful that you spoke about learning to celebrate others, because it doesn't take anything away from who you are or what you have achieved. But it's very difficult for most people to come to that point, because it means you must be happy with yourself.
Of course.
And sometimes we are so focused on, why did that person get that job? Instead of like, oh, that's wonderful. Maybe this, this breakthrough they really needed in their life. For you, when was that turning point to realize that And I think it's something that you need to learn to practice, because sometimes you can choose to either be jealous or inspired by something.
Yeah.
So when was that point for you, or how did you get to a point where you're like, if someone does something great, I am going to be happy for them?
I did the #1 Stunner album with Arafat. It took us 3 years doing that album. The year before then, I watched Jericho do Street Fame. He's killing the industry. He's got big songs. He's got Heaven's Missing an Angel. Everywhere you go is Jericho.
Yeah.
And I'm in the studio frustrated. Arafat, my album needs to come out. Arafat's like, yo, chill. Your time will come. Let's polish. Jericho is doing gigs. He's getting endorsements. The very same year, he's getting Artist of the Year. He was the first guy at the Namas that got Artist of the Year. The first artist when the Namas came out. And him being a hip hop artist, I was inspired. I was like, wow, this is huge. I can also do this. Fortunately for me, my album was ready. I did my first single, which was If I Could. And then Kashushu dropped. Sticks and Stones. Like, I transitioned from Dice, because I didn't have any albums prior to that album. I had a lot of singles that I came with from high school. Remember the high school story? Yeah. So now I transitioned from Dice the rapper to Dice the artist. But the quality of music obviously changed. I'm doing big shows. It was good. I am the guy. I'm booked from Thursday to Saturday. Multiple gigs in one day, and life is good. And then that very same year, I get nominated in 7 categories at the Namas.
Yeah.
I'm at the award show. I'm dressed to kill. I remember my son was, how old was he? Was it a year? I don't know. But I took him with me to the awards. I was 100% sure that I'm going to at least scoop a few, because I had a very good year to my count at least. And one announcement, one category from another one to another one, I'm not getting any awards. Okay, the first one comes, I'm like, it's cool, I'll get the next one. And then Best Hip Hop comes, where I was like, this one is a definite. As cocky as I was at the time, I looked at all the other guys in the categories. I was like, they didn't put in as much work as I did. And then boom, someone else takes it. I'm like, what? And they give it to like some random person that nobody knows. I was like, whoa, wait, what? And then, bro, it was from one category to another category to me getting nothing. There was like, yo, what's happening? You know what I mean? The Dice today, if tables turn and I'm still in the same position, and that happens, I'll be like, it's all good. I'll clap hands for the other guys. You know what I mean? Well, probably the judges saw something in those people that they didn't see in me, which is all good. Yeah. But that Dice was furious. I was like, yo, they're hating on me. What? I hit my lowest. My very, very, very lowest. And as much as it became it was myself and Exit and Sally that year that really got nothing. As much as those guys made it a media frenzy or whatever, fans going on social media trying to defend us or whatever, I was in the room, curtains closed, depressed. I started second guessing myself, like, am I good enough? You know what I mean? And that was the bottom, and I think I needed to go that bottom to really have appreciation of the work. And I told myself that, look, it's the work speaks for itself. The sales was very good. It was undisputed. The songs was playing a lot on radio. It played a lot on TV. The gigs was there. Like, those days we didn't have to really promote ourselves as much as right now. Right now you can have zero music, but if your marketing is good, you will still be booked. Yeah. Back then, your music must be good. Doesn't matter how good your image looks like, whatever. The music must speak. So the proof was in the pudding, if I can say it like that. And that process maybe just humbled me a lot. Yeah. And it also gave me a sense of, okay, you really need to start looking at your brand. You need to look how you're going to have to diversify, because you just can't be Dice as the rapper. You need to look into other avenues. Look into business. Look into. At the time, it was not film yet. Sorry for obviously down the road when we were talking, but I was really trying to see how best to branch out. Maybe start to look into corporate endorsements also and stuff like that, because obviously it wasn't enough for me to be seen as this guy that is deserving of an award. It was an awakening moment for me, and I think I'm forever grateful for that moment. Like I said, I have no regrets. I think it happened the way it's supposed to happen for me to be this guy that I am today.
That's a beautiful way of explaining to, getting to a point where you are able to celebrate others. I'm thinking, every time when I look at an artist, I'm thinking, or just anybody that is in the creative industry, the beauty of what you do is that you get to be closer to your purpose.
Yes.
Be it music or acting or you're on TV or whatever that you do. But somewhere along the line, I feel like we lose the gift.
Yes.
The gift, which is I get to wake up and I get to do this as a living. And we get consumed with, I wasn't nominated for that, or why was I not on that magazine? And how easy is it to get addicted to like the outside validation in terms of like whether it's awards, it's magazines, or just anything that is outside validation aside from what is really meant for you?
Fame is a drug, David, and there are guys that were born to be superstars. One example is King Tidi. The other controversial one is maybe Exit. Like, these are my friends, right? When we go out, we're all stars, but those guys are rock stars. Like, they live the life. I can switch on and off. For me, I switch it on and I can switch off. Those guys are in character 24/7. They are the guy. It is so easy for you to get caught up. And it's easy because everything comes easy. The boost comes easy. The attention comes easy.
Like you said, it's a drug.
It's a drug. Everything comes easy. I'm not saying that you're not deserving of it. You are being celebrated for who you are. But for me, I think as somebody that is moving into that direction, if you get a breakthrough let's say in the pop culture, I would not say in the music. Let's just say if you get your breakthrough and you are getting all of this attention, by all means, go through the process, because no one can tell you how it is. It can't be taught. You must live it to understand. By all means, but you must find something, or you must have something that should be able to remind you, to bring you back to reality, because it is so easy to get lost in that world. And again, this is where the depression comes in, etc., etc. Because you keep going and you get accustomed to things that you weren't before. But then you hit a pivotal moment where you're asking yourself, like, is this it? I asked myself the same question. I was like, okay, I'm about to hit 30. Bruh, no house, no car. I'm diced. Just come at diced, man. What's your car? I was asking myself those questions, like, when is enough for you to realize that, okay, I need to either really monetize my brand for it to get me in this kind of position in life where I'm able not just to leave a legacy in terms of your name, but also a legacy for your kids or your family, whatever, whereby they can actually inherit something tangible if you're not there tomorrow. And that was me. I was like, whoa, bruh. Like, what the hell? I had my son at the time. I was like, what am I, if anything happens to him? People were going the time. People were going tomorrow. This year was that guy who died the other year. You know, and I keep asking myself those questions. Like, yo,
thinking long term.
You know, like, to what point am I going to keep up this facade? Because it was a facade. Because in the streets, I'm the guy. When I get home, it's sad. You know, it's sad. I was like, no, but something needs to give.
But how does somebody explain that sadness? Because, you know, Trevor Noah tried to explain, to say, like, he would be surrounded by people, or like, imagine having a show and there's millions of people screaming, and it's just this you're on a high and you're on a roll, and then you get into the car and then it just switches.
Yeah. Like I said, you in the industry, you should know, this is really where most of the colleagues, I had my fair share, where you really struggling with those realizations, and it leads to depression, you know. This is now when you really start second guessing everything you do, you know. And the biggest challenge that we have in Namibia is, we are in Namibia. We hit this ceiling, you know,
very quickly,
you know. You're thinking about cross-border now. You want to go outside the country. But the music is not just doing what it's supposed to do outside. You know, the collabos are just not. You might have the biggest collabos. It's big in Namibia, but it hardly makes a dent in Africa. You know, I had my fair share. My songs was number one on Trace. When Trace was introduced, my songs was on rotation. I was number one with so many songs on Africa Top 10, Hip Hop Top 10, you know, South Africa Top 10. For some reason, my songs was trending on that Top 10 as well. I was for sure confident that, okay, this is me going into, you know what I mean, as this new artist in Africa. But that was not the case, you know, because, you know, this is our reality in Namibia, you know. And again, there was another moment for me where I was like, oh my God, what now again? You know,
here we go again.
From everybody celebrating, oh, bro, your music's playing. I was getting called from Botswana, people calling me Botswana, in Zambia, in South Africa. You know, I was in South Africa and I was watching myself. What a moment. And I'm in this place and nobody knows that it's me. I mean, that I'm watching myself on TV. There was like a moment where I was like, wow, finally, you know, we're getting somewhere.
But okay, with all the success, what do you think it is that you are still missing, the link?
It's the formula, man. My song, I was trying to keep up with all these African greats, right? My song, I'll drop a single today, it's playing on Trace, it gets on MTV. Same time the video drops, If. You know, If I Tell You, you know that song? So he dropped If, and then in 3 weeks, the video drops another song. You know what I mean? And in 2 days, he's on another song featured with another artist. You know what I mean? The formula, we don't have the resources to be on that fast pace as these guys. Because the music must come out like this, in my view. As Namibian artists, if we're really trying to compete, we must compete outside. The content must, especially in music, you know what I mean? It does not mean there's no guarantee if you have one big song, even if it's big today. Let me use this example. Roberto with Amarula. Amarula was a big song. You know what I mean? I just felt that there wasn't another follow-up song that came fast enough to somehow create a spin-off to keep that guy going. The one person that did it excellent over his career from the beginning is Diamond Platnumz. He kept coming and coming and coming. He was annoying to me at a point. I was like, who's this guy? Doch. To a point where I became a fan of Diamond Platnumz. You know what I mean? And I don't think in Namibia we have the kind of capacity to compete as a country because we lack the resources. Because you need wardrobe. You need budget for music videos. You need budget. We don't have the budget. You know, you might have a budget for 2 or 3 videos for the year, but you don't necessarily have the budget, not for the year, but you don't have the budget for the next 4 months. You know what I mean? Those guys have got an endless budget which can sustain them. They already know 24 music videos this year, and every day they're in the studio, and they're always picking out new songs which they can identify and say, okay, let's push this one out. We don't have stylists. that we can pay. We do have them, but they need to get paid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We don't have the graphic designers.
A lot of logistics.
You need a team. You need a whole team, and I don't think we have the capacity. In my case, I didn't have the capacity to compete in that sense.
International level.
International level. I was trying my best, but I was not really making a dent as far as I was concerned. The music was just there, but it was not enough, and I didn't have the big songs that would really that could push me like for good 6 months. You know what I mean? Where they just keep talking about that one song until I can produce another one or whatever.
Yeah.
And these guys were dropping. These guys were having big songs that were dropping back to back, and again, depression mode.
Yeah.
I was like, oh God, here we go again. What am I going to do? Fortunately for me at the time, I got called by Errol Gainkop, my first, the guy from Desert Films.
Yeah.
He said, guys, we're working on a film. We would like you to come audition because we've seen you on set, we've worked with you on set. You do acting very well on set, since I used to act out my own scenes in my music videos. I was like, try it out, see if it works for you. And I did, and I got my first role for Dreamers. And that's where it started for me, and that at least kept me out of the dark room. At least I was focusing on something that I always aspired doing in the future. Yeah.
When you experience a low moment, however you describe it, be feeling depressed, for you, how have you been able to navigate your way through that, and without making it an external thing? How have you been able to get yourself out of depressive state?
I've got an excellent partner. She's not in the industry, thank God. But she's such a normal person that, you know, that rubs off me as well, and that somehow keeps me grounded.
Okay.
That it's a distraction from my reality, what I'm going through. As men, sometimes we don't want to talk about things. We just bottle up everything, you know, and we keep it going. But this person can see that this guy is not okay. That's in her ways. She tried to, you know, bring me out of that shell. But then what always works for me is just getting right back on that horse and just getting ready to just do it all over again. Keeping busy. Studio time really helps. Being on set really helps. Being at home with my family really helps. I think those are the cornerstones of what really grounds me up. But I don't forget that I need to understand that everything has its moments. You know, if this is your moment, I need to celebrate you. This is you. You're doing something which is great for yourself, something great for the country. You know, you are paving the way for the next generation. We need to be able to celebrate you. Tomorrow, I might have inspiration to be becoming an MC. I might be able to go to David and say, David, give me some tips. You know, I must be able to be down to earth enough and not think like, I'm also dice. I can't go to David. Yeah. You know what I mean? No, bro.
Yeah, get over the ego.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we can do so much when we remove. We had Mookie, she's a TikToker.
Yeah.
And she spoke about, imagine what we can do if we just removed that ego and we work together. I'm not sure whether it's Sally or Mookie that said it. Yeah, but something along the lines of ego. Once you remove that, we can do so much, because if we put our heads together, we can be able to collaborate.
Yes.
And out of those collaborations comes a great of ideas and also pulling of resources. But a lot of us are like, no, I want to do this on my own because I want it to be known as a David Mbeha thing. You know, in an industry that is also very fast-paced, very demanding, what has taught you patience?
My daughter. My ex. Yo.
Yeah.
Yo. Yeah, no, that relationship really, I think, something I never spoke about, but thinking about it now, yeah, that relationship really, it made me graduate from a boy to a man, because my ex and I were dating at the highest peak of my celebrity. Then now, where everything was just milk and honey for me. And as gorgeous as she was, I think I contributed a lot to her insecurities. I take accountable for that. And the relationship became so toxic at the time where it was just not good. Like, you know, that kind of relationship whereby when you walk in, everyone is like, yo, sharp, we're out. You know, no one wants to be around you guys because it's just going to end up in drama. And that was me. And I think coming out of that relationship, going into another relationship, if I may say that, I come to realize that I need to be patient, more patient. I'm dealing with another human being with his or her own feelings. Everything does not revolve around me. And when I had my daughter as well, and I have 3 sisters also, Buff, that really taught me that you slow down, calm down, listen, you know, be patient, listen. And also, over the years, I always try to get things done overnight. And I bumped my head so many times. And growing up, the matured me was like, you know what? Relax. Be patient, it will come. Do the work, it will come. You know, maybe it needs more effort. You know what I mean? Maybe, you know, we live off acknowledgement. You do something, you want to be told, good job. You know what I mean? Even on set, my first set, I lived for feedback. I'll do one take and I'm asking everybody, even the sound guy, how was that take? How was it? How was it? You know, chill, calm down. You know what I mean? It does not, not everything needs a pat on the shoulder. You know, be patient. Your time will come. You will know when you've succeeded. You will know when you've achieved. You know, be patient. And I think the combination of my past relationships, my daughter, my sisters, you know, being in the industry as well, I've just formed my own coping mechanism and my own, what do you call it, calmness. And I just told myself that sometimes, as much as you set goals in life, it might not come tomorrow. Sometimes it might come in a month, sometimes in a year, sometimes 2 years. Work it in your long-term strategy so that way you don't feel like you're a loser or you've not accomplished or whatever. Have a plan, a long-term plan. And if you manage to succeed in a short term, good for you. But aim for a longer period and work towards that. Yeah. I don't know if that made sense. I've said a lot.
I'm listening to you and I'm thinking that's a beautiful place to come to, because when you look at in your career when you started and just like wanting to break through and wanting to push the mold and all that, and then turning around and thinking it's not an overnight thing.
Yes.
You know, and it sounds like somebody who has come to a point where you're able to be a bit lenient with yourself to say, I'm going to give my best.
Yes.
I'm going to aim for the best always. But if that is not it, I'm going to keep trying. Yes. And I know that it's not just going to happen all at once. Yes. It's a journey, you know, and I think that also gives you a bit of calmness.
Yes.
That you said, because sometimes we are the demand from the consumer,
yes,
and this being your fans,
David. That is that is why I've become this person where I am. I told you earlier that I'm a homebody.
Yeah.
Every time I go out, guys, when is the music coming out? The pressure out there is not easy at all.
Yeah,
it's not. Oh, you are quiet. But you are you're on set. You know what I mean? The product that you shot 2 years ago is still in post. You know what I mean? Or it's still not published by the producers yet. You know what I mean? You know, oh, when this thing comes out, it's going to be fire, but it's not out yet. But within in the time, you get so much pressure from the consumer. They want, because you are their guy.
Yeah.
And I come to understand these things, and it doesn't really faze me anymore. I'm okay with them. Back in the day, I would over-explain. I'm working on something. No, don't worry. I'll just, don't worry. We're working. That's the answer I'll give you. You know, because they will have their opinions regardless. It doesn't matter what I say. They will still have their opinion of me. So I think, let me just let the work speak for itself. Like when I did, not to brag, as new as I am, I still see myself as new in the film industry. Yeah. There's guys with many, many, many years of experience than me. But one thing I'm proud of myself is that I don't think there's anyone in our industry that's got more film time than me. Why? I'll explain. I did The Third Wheel 4 seasons. There's not another. Maybe now, I don't know. Another series which is out there that has got 4 seasons. Maybe 1, 2, but not 4. I think The Third Wheel is the only one that was on TV, or at least publicized. Yeah. That's the first one. That is a lot of screen time for me. And then I did Dreamers. We did 1 season. It's not a film. It's a series. 1 episode of what we do is equivalent length of a film that somebody else might do. Yeah. And I got 4 seasons, and in each season you've got like 13 episodes. That's a lot of screen time. It's not something I go around and bragging or whatever. To me, it's why it's an achievement is because this is where I built a lot of experience, because I came in as a rookie, right? With a big role that I got. I had to work hard, very hard. I had to talk to my co-actors, co-actresses. Thank God I had big experience on set, like the Hazel Hinders. Shuna just came out of Karutura at the time. Not to take away from anybody, but there was a lot of other guys. So I was always trying to rub shoulders with everybody, trying to get tips and stuff like that. And over the years, it really, really, really helped. But then Simply You magazine came out the first year I was nominated, I got the award, fine, sharp. The second year I was like, I'm definitely getting it because, right? Boom, they didn't nominate me. I was like, oh my God. But it's all good. Yeah. Well done to the people that got nominated, because these are my friends, my colleagues, and I know they also put in work. Maybe they didn't feel like I was the guy for that year. Maybe they wanted something new. I don't know. Every category or every situation has got their own merits. And probably I didn't meet whatever criteria. And I was like, it's fine. You know, because I was putting in work, and then the DSTV project came out and I was working. And it never really got to my head to a point where I had to, even if you go on my social media, I don't post, you know, because I don't want to put myself under that pressure anymore. I've really become selective when it comes to things like that. I post when I, proof of life kind of post. You know, I would post something and say proof of life, something like that, but not to really say I'm on a set, I'm working or whatever. No, even this podcast, I think I'll maybe only talk about it when it's published, you know. But I've become withdrawn when it comes to things of that nature. Yeah,
you mentioned that you're able to switch it on and off, this fame thing. What is it like if you had to paint a picture for us when it's switched off? What is that time like?
Lots of Netflix, lots of snacks. Go buy a Smiley with my condos. Yes. At home. Go to KFC, buy Zinger wings, bunch of snacks at home. Right after this podcast, I'm taking my family to the mall. We're gonna go watch a movie, and then maybe go home, braai, whatever. That's pretty much it. I like to do normal stuff. Thank God, I've done the club so many times over the years. I'm done with that. I don't like people at my house, so I'll go to your house
What is it about going to other people's house?
Because you don't know, people don't want to go home. That's the thing. People come to your house and they want to stay there till like the early morning hours of the next day.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes people just crash on your couch and stuff like that. Bruv, I'm trying to sleep. I have a routine, you know what I mean? So David, I'll go to your house, we'll chill, and then when it's time for me, I'll say thank you so much, and I'll go home.
Yeah.
You know, get in my pajamas and I'll just, you know, do my thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's dice. When I'm switched off, I'm on the laptop, probably looking at an Excel spreadsheet or whatever, or you know, that's pretty
Just
much
more
me.
chilled.
Yeah.
You know, I read an article where you said that you had to grow up very fast.
Yes.
I was kind of wondering as I was reading, what did that look like for you, growing up fast, and how has that impacted the adult that you are now?
Yeah, we're going deep now. Okay, my dad died when I was 2 years old. My mom has got 5 kids. I'm child number 3. When I was grade 8, single mom raising 5 kids, 2 boys. When I was not even grade 8, grade 7, I was head boy at St. Andrew's Primary School. After school, I need to go to kindergarten, crash, pick up my 2 younger sisters. Because mom is at work. My mom used to sell, bruv. My mom was never employed. She's always been self-employed. So she raised us by selling things. She would sell food. She would sell clothes. She would sell anything, pretty much. And she's at the grind doing a thing. Obviously, she can't leave the katak shop or whatever. So I need to go pick up my 2 younger siblings from crash and then go home. You know, that's normal for us that were born in the 80s, right? And in the early 90s as well. But then, going into high school now, like I got tired. Like, why is it just me? Like, why me? You know, I've got 2 older siblings. I've got an older sister and an older brother. My sister was doing trampopis, you know, those trampopi things at school. So she had to, obviously, every now and then she had to stay after school and do that. My brother, he was just a teenager that was just in the streets. He had no interest in those kind of stuff. And I was the kid that really looked at things from a grown-up's perspective. I would see my mom struggle, at that age already. I understood that Zali's not like she's struggling. Let me help. I don't know if my older siblings looked at it the same way at the time, but I was really deep into it. You know, I was the kid that wanted to. If my mom is working with plastic bags, I would want to help her. You know, carry both bags. You know, I was that child. So picking up my siblings, and after school I had to look after them. Everybody's in the streets playing. I'm in the house looking after these 2 youngins. So that obviously made me mature very fast in life.
Yeah.
When I got to high school, thank God, my school was far. I was at St. Taurus. So my mom was forced to get a nanny for my younger siblings, because obviously St. Andrews and my sister's crash was like, okay, they were in Chandubala, and I was in Khomasdal. So I have to take a cab, pick them up, take a cab, and then go back to Khomasdal where we stayed. That was pretty much the routine. But now me being at St. Taurus, it was not practical, right? Yeah. So my mom had to get a nanny. But then again, in grade 8, I got a holiday job. I was working in Kashaboom. Because obviously I don't want to ask my mom for $10. School is asking for $5. You know, every Friday, back in the day, even now, school, they just want something. You know, every Friday it's either $5, $10 contribution for this or that, whatever. And I just got tired of asking, because there's so many of us. My brother is asking, my sister's asking. I was like, you know what? It's all good. So I got a holiday job, thank God. And I started earning bit by bit, and I started buying my own sneakers. You know, I started buying my own T-shirts. I think I became very independent by grade 9.
Yeah.
From grade 9 onwards, I've never asked my mom anything till now.
Yeah.
I paid my own school fees. I paid my own school taxi, you know.
Yeah.
I paid my own matric farewell. You know, that was me. So yeah, I had to really.
Yeah.
I was thrown in the deep end, you know, and I chose to be self-sustainable.
Yeah.
At that age already, I was just like, you know what, it doesn't help. If I go ask mom, she'll probably say she doesn't have, you know, because my brother already asked and he got. My sister already asked, she got a no, or she already got. So if I go ask, I'll probably get a no, you know. And
would you say in a way that when you grow up, the way that you grew up, where you had to grow up very fast, do you think sometimes that your childhood was kind of stolen away from you in a way, that innocence of just not worrying, having to worry about taking care of yourself, be it finances? Do you think somehow that part of you was taken away from you?
Well, definitely, yeah. The younger me, let's say from the age of 5 till maybe with 12, 13, yes, definitely. I don't think I had a normal childhood, but it's a different story again. When I went to high school, I think that is where I was finding myself. I could hang with friends at school and out of school, because we all lived in the same location. We would take taxis together, home, school, and we got to experience girls at the same. You know, I was really coming out. You know, really finding myself. I was a young man. I was becoming a teenager. You know, girls were looking at me in primary schools. I didn't even know about those things. So now girls are looking at me. I'm getting female attention. You know, I started doing music at the time also. I'm getting some other kind of attention, you know, being on stage and stuff like that. I think I made up, and my mom really allowed me at that age. I became a bit rebellious. Is that a word?
Yeah. Rebellious, yeah.
Because I was already making my own money. It was not a lot, but to my standard at the time, it was good money. You know, getting $600 a week from my wages, there was a lot for a kid.
Yeah, so in a way, this then, you know, your upbringing fueled your success and that independence that you wanted to have.
Yes.
And I can relate to that a lot, because I was also raised by a single mother who, I think she was my inspiration in terms of like wanting success, because seeing her struggle to take care of us and financial struggles made me want to become a better person.
Yes.
So, but in a way, also I felt like I don't have a lot of time to mess up, because I feel like once you mess up, when you get home, there's not enough.
Yes.
So you have got one chance, whether it's in varsity, there's no time for things like, oh, I'm going to take a gap year to think about what I want to study. No, you better know what you're going to study and you better get to it. So in a way, I became that kind of person who was always like, I have to get it right.
Yes.
Yeah, because of that whole upbringing. So it's something that I can relate to when you say that.
And it's tough. I think I'm grateful for the journey. Now I can say, bruv, don't be so hard on yourself. You know, and I think you can say the same thing to yourself when you're genuinely giving 100%. Sometimes you take time off. Take time off. As much as for us, there is no plan B. You know, there is no chance for failure. You know, and when we do fail, it really hits us different because of the upbringing that we have, you know. So now this dice is like, bro, enjoy the little things. Enjoy the little things. You know, the ship is burning. You won't save it alone. You know what I mean? Take time away from the burning ship.
Yeah.
You know, take time from the burning ship and drink a glass of water.
Yeah.
You know, just sit back and just reflect. You know, and get back to your burning ship. It's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. You know, you can't save the world by yourself. And I've always been so hard on myself because of obviously I moved out of my mom's house in grade 11 already. And my biggest fear was always going back, you know, going back home.
Yeah.
my mom always said, home is here, you can come back. I was staying in like a small room, sharing with a varsity student at the time. We were sharing, we were paying $600 at the time. Rent was cheap. Life was good back then. So he was paying $300, I was paying $300. I was like, you know what, I can manage. And I've always been driven since then. But now, bro, just calm down. Go do the podcast.
Is it easier for you to ask for help?
Now it is. Back then, no. I would rather sleep hungry than ask for help.
Know that
yes,
you need help.
To let them know that I'm struggling. Now it's a natural thing. If I need help, I'll get on the phone and call David. David, I got approached by who to do an MC gig. I've never done it. I don't want to disappoint the client, obviously. It's something I've always aspired doing, but can you give me advice? It's something that I do nowadays with ease, like they don't even bother me. I feel like I get a bit of sense of relief, sense of growth when I do that. I know that when David is done giving me that advice, I'm going to be a bigger person.
Yeah.
I take pride of that, knowing that I will be better, knowing that I was coached by a friend, a colleague, someone who's got more knowledge than me in that space, because obviously he's an expert in his field. That is why he's been doing it for years. I do the same thing when someone calls me and asks me for tips. I do the same thing. Back in the day, figure it out, bruv. We all struggled the hard way.
Yeah.
Why should I give you all the secrets? That was me back in the day.
Yes.
But now it comes naturally.
Okay, last question. This has been such an amazing, and I just wanted to go on and on and on. When you came on set, right? When you first got into the acting space, you mentioned that you needed a lot of validation, as does anybody who's just new to in any industry. How did you develop the confidence that you have now to be able to get on set and do the kind of work that you do?
Seeing myself fail, first episode from my first gigs, when I watched it on TV, I was cringing the whole way. I was like, no. I was literally cringing.
Especially when someone tells you, I just watched you in.
2 days ago, a friend of mine recorded something that he was watching on TV, and he sent it to me. He's like, oh, bro, you're on TV watching you. And by far, that movie that he was watching, I won't mention the name, was the worst film that I've ever participated on. The worst, David, I won't even lie. I don't want to use the word hate. I don't like it. It was a bad experience on set. The directing was bad. We didn't have enough time to prep. We were just given our scripts today. Next week we are told we are shooting. One of those projects that you regret doing. Yeah, so I think the failures and the trials and the tribulations really put me on this crossroad where I'm now able to say, it's okay.
You need to be able to fail at it and
Yes.
pick yourself up and
Do
fail
better
at it,
tomorrow.
and that way you develop the
Yes.
confidence
Yes.
that you need.
Do it again.
Yeah.
Try it again tomorrow.
Okay. I know I said like last question.
It's all right.
But this one is the last question. What do you think, or just in your own view, what kind of legacy do you want to be remembered for, or the kind of legacy that you feel you are creating?
Okay, for myself personally, I would like to leave a good portfolio for my children. My dad didn't leave a good portfolio for me, so I would want to do something different by leaving my children something which they are able to say yes, for them to also have some sort of advantage in life. that we were not given. As far as my brand is concerned, the legacy that I would like to leave is the memories. When you watch me on TV, I would want you to feel some type of way, whether it's good or bad, but just
feel something.
Like the younger ones, when they see me, oh, bro, I grew up watching you. You know what I mean? And seeing them talking about me, I feel old, number one, which I'm not that old, but I feel old. But what I take from it is that I was literally a soundtrack for this kid's growth, and that is our memories. Our soundtrack was Nelly, 50 Cent, the J-Lo's, their music. When we hear a certain song, there's a certain memory that comes, right? I think you can, yeah. And that
the nostalgia.
Exactly, that's the word. So that is what I get from them as well. And I would want to do the same thing with the film. For me, it's Stanley, the late Stanley. I always forget his surname. The guys that did One Fine Day. I don't know if you remember the One Fine Day.
One Fine Day. No,
he used to play a lot on NBC.
Okay.
And the Lazarus Jacobs, they did One Fine Day. So these guys are my legends. These guys are my heroes, and the Deltons. So I would want to leave my legacy, whereby when an aspiring actor comes tomorrow and is sitting on your podcast 10 years from now, he or she should say, like, I watched Dice on TV. He inspired me so much, and he's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing today. That would be the ultimate take home for me if I actually ever watch a podcast and I'm seeing a successful actress, musician speaking about me in that light.
That's beautiful. And I don't want to add or take away from that. And I think it's the perfect way to end this session. And I'm just so thankful that you were able to come, because I learned so much from you. You're a wonderful musician, right?
Thank you.
And your work is wonderful as an actor. But to hear the person and the journey that you've had is wonderful. And I think it's a great lesson for many people. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, David. This was nice.
It was nice, right?
But I feel like I'm on the hot seat here.
This has been Uninterrupted.